OnePlus finally did the impossible with the OnePlus Open. They made us finally believe that a OnePlus phone is better than a Samsung phone. Now, I still appreciate the S Pen and what it has and what they bring to the table with that, but that's about it. Whenever you put them side by side, and I think you take a look at a lot of the reviews, a lot of the popular sentiment, I think most people think the front screen experience is better. I think most people think the cameras are more impressive and better. I think most people think that the screen even looks better. Of course, you get the 2800 nits brightness on the front and on the inside of the phone. They've got the same Snapdragon 8 Generation 2, comes stock with 512 gigabytes of storage space instead of the 256. And they managed to put all this stuff in a box, give you a 67-watt charger, give you fast charging, no more 25-watt charging, 67-watt charging, give you the case, give you all that stuff, and still managed to be $100 cheaper, and had some good incentive deals. Basically, you could trade in any phone and get like $200 off of the price. They had some good trade-in specials and stuff. But the biggest thing with the OnePlus phones is they've been little brother. They've been second string fiddle for so long, trying and trying and trying, nipping at the heels of Samsung, trying all these things, faster charging speeds, bringing in people, National Geographic photographers and Hasselblad to try and say that the cameras were just as good. They've suffered from little brother syndrome for a long time, and whenever they have a new phone that comes out, it's good, but. It's good, but. It's almost as good, but. There's always that but at the end of the sentence. And, well, right now, the only but that's out there is the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 5, which is a good phone. It's a very good phone. They've done a great job, but finally, I think that they're going to have to move off of their position of using the same phone and giving us the same thing over and over and over that I've been complaining about for years, because the phone fundamentally has not changed since the Z Fold 2. And now we have this. And that means that we're probably finally going to get some change. So not only has OnePlus proven to the world that they're no longer second string fiddle, but they're also going to make Samsung actually have to move and do something because somebody else came and took their lunch money. And I'm really excited about this. Now, I like the Z Fold 5. I use it on a daily basis. I've been telling folks it's fantastic, great phone, love the S Pen. I use the S Pen whenever I make my thumbnails every day. There's a lot of practical applicability to this, and there's some things here that are really good. I mean, it's a good phone. But the thing is Samsung's been so lazy. I mean, if you remember watching a lot of these reviews a few months ago, people were legitimately praising the phone for being 10 grams lighter. 10 stinking grams lighter. Like, how is that something praiseworthy? It's like, oh, there's so much change. It's 10 grams lighter. It's the same cameras and 10 grams lighter. Oh, and they made it slightly thinner. And oh my gosh, it can fold flat. That was basically all of the praise for the phone. And of course, the Snapdragon 8 Generation 2, that's good. But of course, that went into every major flagship Android phone this year, other than, of course, the Google Tensor 3. The phone is good, but they've been sitting there charging too much money, giving us the same old for way too long. And now, of course, they're going to have to do something because they have been challenged, and they've been challenged by this, the OnePlus Open. And it's been such a refreshing experience. See, when you pay $17.99, it should be an exciting experience. And the Z Fold 5 is not exciting. The first Z Fold was exciting. Actually, it was just the Fold back then. And then the Z Fold 2 was exciting. And the Z Fold 3, of course, they gave us S Pen support. And that was still a little exciting, I think. And then the Z Fold 4 was like, all right, same crap. And then the Z Fold 5 was like, all right, more of the same crap. But it went to fat camp and it lost 10 grams. So I do really appreciate what OnePlus did with this phone, because not just as a phone enthusiast, I've really enjoyed it. I've been using it a lot. And of course, you've got the OnePlus Buds. Those are fantastic. And it's been a really great experience. I love the interior screen. I know that you can get the Oppo Pencil or whatever it's called. See, the Oppo Find N3 is basically, Oppo is the parent company that OnePlus falls under. So essentially it's the same phone with some slight tweaks, and they bring it over to the United States under the OnePlus branding. So it's not really their first rodeo, even though it kind of is. Like, this is the first one with the OnePlus logo on it, but really it's like the third iteration that Oppo has made. And Oppo, they have a pencil, and you can import it, and you can pay like 140, 150 bucks and wait like 4 to 6 weeks, and it'll get here. Maybe I'll get one. I haven't decided at this point. That would be like the ultimate thing. And I wish that they had made that available now. Whenever this phone came out, maybe it was a lack of foresight. Maybe it was just the didn't have time to do that. I don't know, but I hope at some point they bring it over, because that would really make this the ultimate challenger. See, the thing is I use the S Pen all the time. Anytime my screen is open, I'm basically using the S Pen. But the thing is, and Samsung, they call it this. They say that the front screen is not the main screen. The interior screen is the main screen. And of course that makes sense, because the interior screen is so good. That's really what you're supposed to be using most of the time, right? But OnePlus has changed that, because I think that both of them are the main screen. The front screen is basically about the size of a normal phone. It's not too short. It's not real fat like you get with the Pixel Fold. This one really feels like you're using a full-size phone. And then you open it up, and then you get a really nice interior screen. So it's more like a good 50-50 split. I find myself enjoying the front screen. There's no frustration. I'm out and about. I can do things. It's very easy to use the front screen. It's a very enjoyable experience. There's no trade-off. 2800 nits brightness on the front and on the inside. Snapdragon 8 Generation 2, tons of storage, tons of RAM, such a great and snappy performance. Of course, it's got good multitasking as well. And they did, like, I feel like they waited till the right moment and they struck. I feel like if this phone came out a year ago, it probably would have put Samsung on notice sooner, maybe would have had more changes. But I don't think that collectively everybody was ready for it. And I think now the market is more ready for other players. And I give Samsung so much credit, because they pioneered this. They, on the backbone of Samsung and their bank account and their willingness to create new things, we have foldable phones. So I will always give them great credit. I'm very, very thankful to Samsung, because they make such good phones. They make good hardware. I love the foldables. And now the market is more ripe. Samsung built up that level of trustworthiness in the technology, so people might be more willing to adopt it. And then we get this beautiful phone. And it looks gorgeous. I love the cameras. I like the Hasselblad cooperation. It takes some really good photos. Even the video is okay. Yes, it's not a perfect phone. And neither of these are perfect phones. There are shortcomings in each area. But when you put them side by side, and you look at what Samsung put into this, and then you look at what OnePlus put into bringing this phone here, and then of course all their other great things like super fast charging. I know it doesn't have wireless charging. I'm totally okay with that. Would you rather have this one have wireless charging, or would you rather have wired charging that caps out at 25 watts, right? Like, we should be complaining more about the 25 watt charging when you have 67 watt charging over here, even a bigger battery. This phone is fantastic. And I don't like to usually go on and gush about a lot of phones. Like, I talk about stuff. Some of them I really like. Some phones have been really special. But there's been a lot of special phones this year. And they've been from the brands that you don't expect. I think that the Motorola Razr Plus, I love that phone. I think that it's the best flip phone. I think that they showed up the Z Flip. I think that they basically stole Samsung's lunch money in that department. And then we've got OnePlus coming in with the Open, taking the forefront and taking some of that smoke away from the Z Fold. And then we have other great phones like the Motorola Think phone, which I think is one of the best value flagships of the year. So I think that it's great, because for so long it felt like we had Apple and Samsung, and then it was just like, okay, which one is going to make a decent phone this year that has some gimmicks and charges a little less money? And we had the OnePluses, and they kind of fell on their face when they tried to get to that $1,000 mark, and just a lot of people haven't been impressed with their phones since the OnePlus 9 and the 10 and then the 11. And there's a lot of excitement now looking forward to the OnePlus 12. And I really love the OnePlus 11. Fantastic phone. But I just think there's been a stigma attached to it for so long. And I think that this phone right here changes the landscape. It erases that stigma. And it really builds a lot of confidence in the brand that's been lacking for a long time, to where you don't look at this one and go, well, I'll just go get the cheaper one, or I'll save a couple of bucks, or I'll give this a try just because I'm tired of the same old with Samsung. And this phone is so much more inspiring than this phone. Like, it really is on pretty much every single level. And that means that next year Samsung's going to have to come back. I mean, if OnePlus has a 2800 nits brightness screen, what are they going to do with the Z Fold? Or if you've got this amazing camera module on the back, they can't use the same S22 cameras for a third year in a row. I mean, I guess they could, but then they're going to find themselves losing money and losing sales. So it's really, really inspiring to see a lot of this extra competition in the smartphone sector. We truly have smartphone competition in the flagship foldable department now. There are 3 foldables in the US now: the Z Fold, the Pixel Fold, and then we have the OnePlus Open. And I like that they didn't use some variation of the word fold. Like, they had to get away from that and kind of distinguish themselves. I wish that this was on more store shelves. You can get them at different carriers. but they've done such a good job with this phone. It's really refreshing. And the last couple of years for phones really has not been that refreshing. It's kind of been, quite frankly, very boring. So it's a very happy occasion to see this stuff. It does my tech enthusiast heart good. And I've just really enjoyed it. That from day one, the experience for this phone has been, wow, I really enjoy this phone. Whereas this phone's like, okay, they gave me better battery life and it doesn't heat up anymore. And it lost 10 grams, right? That was basically the excitement. The excitement was the chip, not so much that there was any significant change here. And I think the front screen is just fine. I like that Samsung has their way of doing things. I like that OnePlus has their way of doing things. I like that Google has their way of doing things. It's not just the clone after clone after clone that we've seen in the regular smartphone space for so long. So, yeah, I got to give OnePlus a lot of credit here. I think that they have put Samsung on notice. I hope that Samsung responds to this challenge and gives us something exciting this next year. But they've proven that they can be a household brand, that they can be just as good, if not better, than Samsung. And that was the thing. For the longest time, they wanted to be viewed as just as good as Samsung. But I think in a lot of ways, they've proven that they can do better than Samsung. They've changed the narrative. And if you look at it, you look at all these other videos, everyone's like, it's amazing, it's amazing, it's amazing. And it's not just that I find this to be a very good phone. It really has done a lot of great things, and it's revolutionized, I think, the flagship foldable. It's just revolutionized the foldable game here in the United States, and I'm really happy about that. So that's all I've got in this video. Wanted to talk about it. I was sitting here. I mean, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I know I stay up all night, but I was sitting there thinking, like, you know what? I want to talk about this. Like, I want to talk about this phone, and I want to share some of this excitement with you guys. I know I've already done my full review and all that other jazz, but it's just a good one. So keep your eye out on it for the holiday season coming up. I hope that they have some good sales on this and can be competitive in that regard. Try and get some more of these phones in people's hands, because they truly did a good job with this phone. And it makes me just as excited for what we might see next year, which makes me more open to more open possibilities, which hopefully will, if they come out with an internal stylus next year, that will be it. Like, it'll be game over for Samsung, especially if they don't do the same. So that's all I've got in this video. Let me know what you think. Are you still team Z Fold? Are you team Open? Are you team Pixel Fold? Are you still sitting on the fence saying, I don't want a foldable phone yet, I'm still kind of worried? Let me know. Talk about it in the comments. We'll have some discussion. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.